Hello there guys, it's me, time again for another little update video, little discussion I guess, some things I want to bring to your attention, see how you feel about them. Also this icon, man, I remember this from way back when I did Infamous 2, what a great game that was. I want a new Infamous game, real bad. Anyway, onto the topics of discussion. Lately I came to the conclusion that my capture card, one of my capture cards, I have two, one which works with HDMI cables and one that works with like the older kinds of cables, and the one that works with the older kinds of cables, you know, component and all the like the red, white, yellow ones, that one has died. So that's a little unfortunate, because that basically means I can't record my GameCube, PS2, Nintendo 64, Wii, and PS3 anymore. So that's kinda bad. I'd probably have to replace that one or get some other way around that or something. But yeah, that's pretty bad, all things considered. And that kinda ties into something else I wanted to talk about, which is the Pokemon Yellow LP. Mainly because for some reason, I keep telling myself I shouldn't do that kind of stuff anymore. But I started the Pokemon Yellow LP way back when, without having recorded the entire playthrough beforehand. Basically, where I'm at now, I have about 4 episodes of Pokemon Yellow left. And after that, I can't record anymore because I record that on the Game Boy player on my GameCube, which uses the capture card that is now broken. So yeah, that's a problem. So unless there is some kind of, I don't know, cable that allows me to, that basically lets me plug the red, white, and yellow things into it, and then that it ends on an HDMI cable or something so that I can plug it into my other capture card. I don't know if something like that exists, but I'd either have to get one of those, if that even exists, or an all-new capture card for that altogether, which is probably gonna end up being pretty pricey in the long run. I'm not really looking forward to that, to be honest. But yeah. Also, why there hasn't been a lot of Pokemon Yellow lately, 1, because I only have a handful of episodes remaining, 2, because the next episode is about an hour and a half long, the raw footage, and it requires a lot of trimming down and editing to make it into an actual episode. So, I haven't really had a whole lot of time on my hands recently, which is why I haven't really been able to sit down and do all that editing stuff, which is why there hasn't been an episode of Pokemon Yellow in forever. I do still have Disney's Dinosaur going on. I think that's only 2 more episodes away from being finished, and I actually did record the entire playthrough for that one, so yay me. Props for me for doing that, at least. So yeah, Pokemon Yellow might be a bit of a problem. I might have to just leave that LP unfinished until I find a way to record more episodes, which would require probably spending a bit of money. And that kind of ties into something else that I wanted to bring up, which is I recently, well, I think like a month ago, set up a Patreon account for myself. Mainly because, you know, life is expensive. I mean, I still have time to make these videos, apart from like work and school and all that stuff. But yeah, it would be nice to, you know, have a little more money to invest into the video making process and stuff. Like, I'd need to buy a new capture card. I'd like to be able to do all kinds of more recent games, but they're expensive. You know, that sort of thing. So I figured, hey, everyone's doing Patreon these days, so why the hell shouldn't I do it? So if you feel like helping me out in a financial way, just go to my Patreon page. I'll put a link in the description. I might even do an annotation, which I normally never do. But yeah, I would really appreciate it. Like, if everyone just chips in like $1 or something, then that's still... Let's see, my videos usually get like 200 views a pop, so that's $200 a month. That's a good amount. That would help me out a lot. I mean, that's basically like 1 month, and then I can buy an all-new capture card to record Pokemon Yellow again. So, yeah. If you want to help me out, throw me a bone, go to my Patreon page, become a patron. There's a couple of features like rewards and stuff that I put in place. I didn't really have a whole lot of ideas for rewards and stuff. So if you have any suggestions on what you'd like to see as Patreon rewards, then that would also be much appreciated. But basically, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. Pokemon Yellow is in a bit of trouble, capture card's broken, so I can't record a whole lot of games. I still have my HDMI capture card with which I can record my PS4 and my Wii U. You'd think the PS3 as well, because you can also plug an HDMI cable into that, but there's some sort of like copy protection on the PS3, which makes it so that if you plug an HDMI cable into a capture card, you're not gonna get anything out of it, which I find really weird. And you have the option to turn that off on the PS4, but not on the PS3 for some reason, which, in my opinion, is pretty dumb. And lastly, one thing I wanted to touch upon briefly is the Amiibo tournaments, which I've been doing a lot of recently. And I don't know, I've been getting some mixed results, some mixed opinions about them. I hear some people like really like them and think they're really interesting to watch, and I kinda feel the same way as well. It's really interesting to see how the Amiibos like develop and kind of, you know, grow in all their fights. I found that pretty interesting to watch, and I really like recording those as well. It's really fun. But I have heard some complaints from people that they don't care much for it, and they want to see more Let's Plays and all that stuff. I hear you, but think about this. I already said that I don't really have too much time available to dedicate to YouTube, and basically, in the time that I could record one episode of a Let's Play, I could pretty easily record like 5 or maybe 6 Amiibo fights. Like, commentating them. It takes about the same amount of time, probably, depending on how long the Let's Play episode is. So basically, I can make one video, one LP episode, that gets pretty much the same amount of views as any single Amiibo fight. Or I could make like 5 or 6 Amiibo fights, which would get me pretty much 6 times the amount of views, which would also probably mean 6 times the amount of ad revenue. So you can see basically from a business standpoint, why I've been focused more on the Amiibo tournaments lately than I have been on the Let's Plays. Simply because it's a more valuable thing for me to spend time to put time into. So I hear you when you say you want more Let's Plays. It's just not entirely feasible for me to really be doing that at this point. Of course I want to find like a good balance in between them. It's just not entirely possible at this moment. I'll try and see if I can maybe fix that, put more attention towards it, but I really can't promise anything, to be honest. And yeah, that's basically everything I wanted to talk about real quick. He said, well, it's pretty much over 9 minutes long, sorry about that. If you sat through the entire thing, thank you for your attention. And I will see you soon with more Amiibo fights and hopefully some more Let's Plays, maybe. I mean, it is technically summer vacation. I guess I could somehow, somewhere find the time to get that next Pokemon Yellow episode out. I mean, I guess if I edit it in like small chunks, I could get it done in a couple days, maybe. But yeah, I'll try and do that. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys later.